having 2 slices of bread left and having to tell your daughter at night, don't make toast, that's for the morning. Things like that, that you never thought you'd have to do. Diluting your milk with water. Things I never ever thought I would have to do in the 21st century after working all my life.
But when you're sitting there and you've no coal, and I never thought I'd be sitting here 40 years of age, not the price for a bag of coal.
Yeah.
I want to get out, and the council aren't helping me. The standards I have my kids are isn't livable.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my doing. I want to fix it up and go through the motions to just, I'm screaming to let me out. Do you know where I'm kind of stuck, and we have to put up with where we are.
Or you feel terrified. You feel because your children's security is being taken away, and you feel you're somehow at fault for that.
Okay.
But it's a real realization. But it's not. It's the new face of homelessness.
You also mentioned that most people would choose streets over hostels. Why?
Most people choose the street over hostel because hostels can be quite dangerous places. There's a general mix of people who have alcohol issues or drug issues.
Yeah.
And people do actually use while they're in hostel.
Oh my God! It envelopes you. It just niggles at you, and it's like it's ripping at your face and your body, and you want to get rid of it, but you can't.
Well, I've approached the council several times over the last few years, and I've been told the same thing each time. We can't deal with you until you've nowhere to go. And I said, but if they're going to try and evict me, I'll have nowhere to go. And they said, no, literally until you're out in the street, until you're homeless, we can't help you. And I can't get my head around this. When they know something is upcoming, why they can't put measures in there to stop this happening, as opposed to waiting until it happens and it's all too late. I just really don't get my head, or I can't get my head around it at all.
Okay. I think everybody said the same thing about that.
So I rang up Dublin City Council to see how far I was on the housing list.
Alright.
And they took me PPS, and the girl goes, you're not on the housing list. And I was like, but I filled out the forms. And she's like, oh yeah, you're on the homeless list. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And she was like, well, one of them is for people getting housing and the other one's a homeless list. And I was like, so can you not get a council house from the homeless list? No.
So the banks had advised me on what to do, got to legal aid, they won't take on a debt. Went to the council, filled in the forms. They said they will not put me on the housing list until I've been evicted. I've been into the office 3 times, written 2 letters, I had 4 or 5 phone calls.
Okay.
Notice return.
There's a waiting list of 6 months at the moment to wait for these people who have knowledge, who have resources, who have tools to come stand beside you, and they liaise with the council on your behalf. Then the wheel and the cogs start moving. But up until that 6-month period, nothing moves. It's a stalemate. You're parked, and everything just tumbles and spirals out of control because it's not contained in the beginning, and you're not given hope. Become a very desperate individuals very soon after you go into homelessness.
Would you have an opinion on the councils?
Yeah, I would actually, because I've heard of a few cases where the council are actually paying up to €900 a week to keep people in B&Bs, where they could be renting houses, like in Navan, for example, for $650 for a 3-bedroom house. And there's families with kids with special needs and that being forced to live in one bedroom in like B&Bs. So it's just ridiculous, the money that's been wasted, and these people are being forced to become homeless before they get looked at by the council for accommodation.
Why do you think maybe they're doing that, or wasting the money, or would you know, or?
I don't know. I think that they're just statistics to them. They're not even, people, looking at the reality of it, that they're actually people, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And the stress that they're under and stuff,
Okay. Could you tell me what you think about the role of the council?
Well, the role of the councils is deplorable in this situation. What the council seems to be policy of Meath County Council anyway, and I know that from experience, from talking to Fiona. The role of the council is they'll only deal with people when they're actually homeless. They refuse to deal with people. What the council should do, they should be assisting people to never become homeless. What the council are doing in many of these cases is they will not provide help, they will not provide a safety net, they will not even engage with some of these people. There's thousands of people that we know that are behind in their mortgages, months behind in their mortgages. They're facing eviction. Now, all them people facing eviction, and we know the last figures quoted, I think, was over 100,000 facing eviction. The council will only deal with them when they become homeless. We've come from an era where we were very criticised as a country and as a state that we didn't look after our children. Now it seems to be the policy of this government and the councils to put children at risk because they're not dealing with the issue. They are going to do nothing until children are sleeping on the streets, and that's just not good enough. And that cannot be allowed. If that's the council policy, that must be the government's policy as well.
Okay. You mentioned that you're meeting the same lady over and over in terms of dealing with this.
I've gone in a couple of times to the office prior to ringing, to the council office. Prior to ringing, had meetings in Capel Street with the Mortgage Association, advised to go back as the council were looking for an eviction letter. So we broke down what eviction point, exactly what eviction letter they needed, which came into 4 different points. Handwrote the letter, delivered the letter, explained the situation to one lady, delivered the next letter to the same lady, went into the office to get a follow-up with the same lady, and then this week again to the same lady.
So you're just going around in circles.
Don't know anything about you, don't know, he's not in the office, don't know. And then get a phone call, just do what the bank say.
Sure, that leaves you nowhere then. Could you tell me, like, you were mentioning about Dublin City Council, like what is the major issue? Like, what is it that they're doing wrong in terms of dealing with this, or do you think they're doing something wrong?
I think that when it comes down to the homeless services, one, they shouldn't have it whereas you have to pay every week, and if you miss it, your bed's gone back out on the street. I think that they should have, because in the hostels they have emergency beds where people come in for just one night and then leave, and I don't really understand that. It's like, why just have it for one night and then straight back down to Park 8th Street when you can have many hostels that can have many people for 6 months. And then another thing I think they should do is they shouldn't put people with alcohol or drug issues in with people who don't have alcohol or drug issues. I don't think it's very fair.
I find that Dublin Corporation is a humongous bureaucratic organisation. Their hands are tied really because they go by a set of rules and they won't verge from the rules that are written down. And it's they're a very black and white. They see things in a black and white way, like, and they're all about ticking boxes. And if you don't fit into the boxes and you don't, they don't know what to do with you.
Would you have any kind of message for the Irish government, maybe, in terms of how they're dealing with it? Or
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to be Irish. I've worked from the age of 11. I've bought my own house with no help from a man. I've raised 3 kids of my own, and I'm stuck with nothing, with nowhere to go, only support that I'm meeting from friends. I've asked questions, nobody answers, and you're just a number. And only for the likes of the charity, St Vincent de Paul, when I'm sitting there with no money because of no boiler, I have to pay extra money for coal to heat the kids. My turbo's gone on the car my father's bought, so my money is actually heating and diesel to get my kids around. I have no money for food even, and I'm on with the light bulb that needs to be fixed, so my father is actually paying for food for the kids. So I've had to go down to St Vincent de Paul just to get a bag of coal.
Really?
I think I know it's criminal. We've been betrayed by several governments, but I have to say no one has sold us out the way this government has on absolutely everything. There's people living in bed and breakfasts, women with children are living in bed and breakfasts. They're putting people like me, disabled, and my 14-year-old daughter potentially to live in a bed and breakfast. I did not work all my life. My parents did not work, having their own businesses all their lives for this to happen. I have grandchildren. I cannot look them in the eye and say that I did nothing.
We'll deal with homelessness immediately when someone's homeless and come up with solutions, because some people are homeless for very simple reasons that you know, they don't need to go through the drama of a year in a hotel.
Fix your homeless services, fix your rental allowance issue, and basically hire some more compassionate staff members for Dublin City Council, please.
And how's the bank treated you?
I can't say they've treated me unfair, because that wouldn't be the case.
For 5 years.
I feel I shouldn't have. I was on a high in the boom. I shouldn't have got that mortgage, but I did. And as far as everybody's been courteous, they know they can't get the money. There's no. But I'm still going to get this letter.
Yeah.
All they've advised me to is to go to the council. The council are telling me to go back to the bank. The council are telling me, more or less, I'm going to be out in the street now, by the sound of it, before I get it.
And what do you think is, like, what do you think will be the next step for you, though? Do you think
I'll be honest. I'm waiting on this yellow letter.
Okay. Now, could you tell me how you feel treated by the banks?
Well, at the start, I can't get my head around subprime lending, because a prime lender will lend you X amount of money, say for €800 a month. But if you go to a subprime lender for the same amount of money, you're paying $13.50 a month. And I have raised this question before with several members in the Dáil, why the prime lenders who have been bailed out without our consent, why those prime lenders are not put under pressure to take subprime lenders like myself back, because that would almost half my mortgage every month, and there would be a chance that I could, pay it or get, work something out. I'm feeling very pressurised. I was phoned while I was down at my mother's wake, asking when my next payment would be paid, and when I said I'm at my mother's wake, they said, sorry to hear that, when will you be paying us? So it was a bit tough to deal with. I'm feeling bullied, I'm feeling harassed. I came home from my mother's funeral, and there on the mat waiting for me was a lovely letter from the subprime lender implying that they were starting eviction proceedings.
Okay, you made reference to Groundhog Day. Could you explain what you mean?
My Groundhog Day is waking up in the morning and it's freezing. My bathroom window is broke, so I've had to double up on bedding. So you wake up at 7:30 and it's like, it is. It's just every day is the same. It's freezing. Walking down the stairs, it's freezing. Fridge freezer's broke, so I've actually slept on the first freezer because we've had no light in the hall. But yeah, that's my day. Get up, cook.
You were saying on the one hob it takes you...
I'm working on one hob,
Yeah.
It can take up to 3 hours.
And then you made reference to, like, the idea of going to the chipper would actually, it cost you more.
My son wanted to go to the chipper last night, and I was working out the diesel rather than the delivery charge, because I hadn't got it. That's sad.
I live 1.5 miles from our local village, and some nights my daughter might have 50 cents and she'd say, Mum, can you bring me to the shop? And I can't, because I know I only have enough petrol in the car to go and collect my disability on the Wednesday and then drive to the garage and get petrol.
Must affect your health as well,
Yeah,
does it?
yeah. Oh, I'd say,
A lot of stress.
yeah, depressed. Depressed.
Kids keep you going though, yeah?
Yeah, you have to keep going. But you don't leave the house. And what you're waiting for, you don't. Because you can't, you've got the levels of I can't work because of the crash, I can't support the kids, so you're kind of running around in circles. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
I suppose when you've been a very independent lady with your own
That's
business,
more of
it's
enough.
very, very
That's more
hard to have to go and ask
That's my
charity
grandson.
for some coal to heat your fire
Yeah.
because you've no heating
Nothing.
and you've no lights and everything.
When you've done it for everybody.
Do you feel a bit degraded having to go and ask for help?
Yeah. But my pride went a long time ago. I think my pride went when I knew it wasn't possible. So it was like, you're stripped of nothing.
So you were constantly under pressure then, constantly worrying.
Exceptional pressure, exceptional. And then also having to look at my two boys' faces was demoralising. When you become homeless and you've not ventured into the homeless world,
Yeah.
you develop a skin
Yeah.
and you're desperate to shed it, and it's the skin of homelessness. And it wouldn't leave you. It sits on your shoulders and it won't leave you, and it just envelopes you, and then it just scars you. It leaves an imprint on you, and you can't shed it. You're desperate to shed it, but you can't, because the only way you can shed it is when you get your own personal four walls, your security, your own key, and you look at your children's face and you know they're safe. Then only will that skin shed.
This has had a massive effect on my health. As you know, stress is the only thing that kills you, and stress leads to many illnesses. I've had cancer and been treated for that since this started. I have fibromyalgia, I've arthritis in almost every joint in my body. Everything is a struggle, yeah. It's had a massive, massive effect on my health, and I think in my daughter in some sort of way. It has affected her greatly.
Okay. Do you mind
Does
me
she
asking
worry about her
her?
mum? Does your
Yes,
daughter
she's
worry
like a
about
mother
it?
to me, and that's not right. She's only 14.
And do you have a carer at all? Anyone that
No.
So your daughter must help you a lot that way, does she?
I try not to, but sometimes, yes,
You
she
have
has
to
to
ask
help
her,
me. Yeah. It's horrible for a mother of a 14-year-old child not to be able to completely look after their 14-year-old child.
Could you tell me what is the next step for you?
I'm in temporary housing at the moment, and I've been parked there for 6 months until my turn comes up. So that in total will be 1 year and 2 months in total.
Okay.
And not having a sense of security, a sense of stability. But overall, it's my two boys that have been really, really traumatized by this process, because I'm a mother. I'm strong. I'm resilient.
Yeah.
I can pull strength at situations, but I've seen my children very fragile and very vulnerable.
I followed it. Then but this last piece that is making me ill, to know if I'm going to have a roof over my head or if I'm going to go anywhere. No, but I'm in limbo. I'm back to waiting on the yellow letter.
I wish I knew. I really don't know. I lie in bed at night, that goes through my head at least 1,000 times. I work out different scenarios and I work on from them. I didn't even put up a Christmas tree last year, because every year I put up a Christmas tree. I'm putting it up and taking it down, going, where will I be next year when I'm putting this up? Where will we be? It's so difficult. It's the $64 million question. I honestly do not know where I will be. I would hope somehow someone in the government will realise that this is criminal, what they're doing to people. I've been in situations where I thought I'd be better off not being here. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that, but it's something very real. The amount of people taking their own lives these days because of debt, and I know it only takes those 5 minutes to feel like that, and you do something. And there's people out there think, oh, these people aren't paying the mortgages, they're just keeping the money, they're defaulting by, through choice. Trust me, that's not the case. I'm paying as much as I can every month, and I will continue to do so. But it's my home. I don't know how I would survive anywhere else. I really don't.
Well, as you know, we live in a democracy. The only chance we get to voice our opinion on what government policy is when it comes to the ballot box. The ballot box will be available to us in the local elections come May and the European elections come May. As I've already said, I'm with People Before Profit. I'd ask you to vote for People Before Profit, but also I would ask you to vote for any party that stands up and is against this type of policy. I'd ask you to vote for the Anti-Austerity Alliance. I'd ask you to vote for Sinn Féin. I'd ask you to vote For people like Dermot Murphy and Direct Democracy, I'd ask you to vote with people like Ken Smolin and the Irish Democratic Party. I'd ask you to vote for Mark Fitzsimons, who's standing as an independent. I'd ask you to vote for Bernie Hughes, a friend of mine who's standing in Finglas, who's all against this type of austerity policy that's hurting people. This policy is hurting people. There's human faces behind the story, and I'm asking the Irish people to send the strongest message possible to every party you support that's supporting against austerity and against this policy. You vote with them. If you're not political, and there's a lot of people out there that have no trust in political parties at all. You can also go and march with Dublin Says No on a Sunday. You can march with Rathote Says No on a Sunday. You can involve with Tralee Says No. You can join a group called the Anti-Eviction Task Force. You can phone Sharon Murphy there. All them people are against this sort of policy. So you vote for any of them, but use it. I'd advise you to go out and vote. And to any party that's against this sort of policy. The crime would be is to sit at home and do nothing. The last thing I'd like to say to you before you cast your vote in May. The stories that you heard today on this video. All the councillors around the country know that these stories exist, and they seem to accept them as acceptable. We don't accept them as acceptable. This has to stop, and it has to stop now. Use your vote to make this stop in May.
Okay.